A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Kirk in mid-morning. This day it is the 4th of August 2022 at exactly 10:05 we kick off our program this morning. A great program lined up for you, dear viewer, as usual, right here on Kirk mid-morning. Thank you so much. Interact with us on our socials, Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook and YouTube, kirktv.kenya on Instagram. Let us know where it is you're watching us from. Remember our SMS line, which you can WhatsApp us on, is 0111 220044. That is 0111 220044. Let us know indeed where you're tuning in from. Such a chilly morning it is in Nairobi. Do keep warm indeed. Well, without further ado, let's dive into the news bites this day. We start off our program with such great news this morning about Omanyala's victory, and African champion Ferdinand Omanyala has yet again made Kenya proud by winning Kenya's first gold medal at the 2022 Commonwealth Games after powering to victory in the men's 100 meters finals. Omanyala dethroned defending champion and rival Akani Simbine from South Africa after clocking 10.02 seconds in the finals of the 100 meters at the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham on Wednesday night. That is yesterday night.
Well, flying out the blocks, Simbine, but look at Omanyala alongside him, and it's Omanyala who's powering his way. Is anybody going to catch him? Omanyala surely for the gold takes it. Simbine with the silver, perhaps a big one for the bronze. 10:02, the winning time. But again, the smile says it all. For Ferdi Omanyala, Kenya have a champion in the 100 meters. So well.
Hard work and good support system. The people around me are really pushing me, and I'm glad that I'm here today. Yeah. Kitu moja naangalia ni kuacha legacy Kenya. Kuacha legacy yani hata nitakuwa nimetoka duniani bado watu wataikumbuka. Na hope tutakuwa na many sprinters. Na hope tumefungulia njia ma sprinters wengi wanakuja. Yeah. Bado sijui, we'll have to talk to my management. We'll sit down and then we'll see if I'll be going on with the season or I'll be cutting it short. So we'll know as we move by. To my fans, thank you so much. I've delivered the gold I promised you, and looking forward to greater heights in the future.
Such a big win right there. Congratulations, Omanyala. And Ferdinand Omanyala is already trending on Twitter. Just to have a look at some of the few tweets, Carol Radul says, Africa's fastest man, Ferdinand Omanyala, has won Kenya's first Commonwealth Games men's 100-meter gold since, listen in, 1962. Well, Carol Radu goes on to say, what a moment for Kenya, what a moment for Omanyala. Congratulations, Omanyala. At Ferdinand Omondi says, Ferdinand Omanyala is Commonwealth 100 meters champion. At Asha Kumugi says, Ferdinand Omanyala wins the 100-meter gold at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Such a superstar indeed, such a superstar. Well, in Ferdinand Omanyala, just to have a look at one last tweet is at Honor Peak, who says at this rate, Ferdinand Omanyala could as well match up to Usain Bolt. Well, it is indeed such a big win. Congratulations, Omanyala. Moving on next to matters elections, matters IEBC preparedness. Well, with the country just counting down a few days before going to the general election, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has yet again assured Kenyans that the commission is ready to transmit free, fair and credible election, and that all necessary measures have been put in place. In addition, the commission has said it will airlift election materials to some constituencies in the country due to security reasons. Let's have a look.
Of all materials, both ballot papers and other election materials, to the field. As we are talking today, most of, or 90% of non-strategic materials, that is ballot boxes, and all those other materials, 90% of them have already been distributed to the various constituencies in the country. And they are being received there by our returning officers at the constituencies. And that exercise has been going on. So as of now, we have not distributed any presidential ballot papers. And you are still receiving the last bunch is supposed to arrive this evening.
Well, indeed, the IEBC writes they are assuring Kenyans that everything has been put in place and all systems are set for the 9th of August, asking Kenyans to come out in large numbers and cast their votes in order to decide their leaders. Well, let's move on to DPP Nurdin Haji, who has asked the Inspector General of Police, Hilary Mutyambai, to investigate Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho and Suna East Member of Parliament Junet Mohammed over a doctored video published on their Twitter handles. The video published on Tuesday was manipulated to show the Deputy President William Ruto profiling certain ethnic communities residing in Rift Valley and declaring shame on them. Now, in a letter to National Cohesion and Integration Commission NCIC, UDA Secretary General Veronica Maina said that the video, which saw some Kenyans on Twitter reprimand the two politicians, was intended to spread hate and incitement to violence, ethnic discrimination and disharmony. The video footage, which has since been deleted, was tweeted by ODM Party Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho and Suna East Member of Parliament Junet Mohammed on their social media accounts. Sticking to matters politics, the latest opinion polls released yesterday, which was also the last day. Now, the latest opinion polls released by Tifa and Infotrack companies put Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga ahead of Kenya Kwanza's William Ruto as campaigns enter the final 2 days. The two top presidential candidates continue to intensify their final appeal to Kenyans, with Ruto today expected to campaign in Makueni, then descend in the coastal region. Raila Odinga will lead Azimio la Umoja's campaign in Kisumu and Nyanza region. This is before heading to the coastal region on Friday. Yesterday, Ruto campaigned in Kirinyaga while Odinga camped in Kakamega and Busia counties.
Tutapiga kura ya amani na tutapiga kura ya demokrasia, na wale wote ambao wanafikiria wanaweza kuchochea Wakenya, tunawaambia hiyo kazi hamuwezi. Tumekataa kugawanywa, tumekataa ukabila.
Tumesema tunataka hii kampeni iishe kwa njia ya amani. Kuna wengine kule bonde la Ufa wameanza kutoa vitisho dhidi ya watu wengine ambao wanaishi huko, kama Waluhya, Wakikuyu, Wajaluo na Wakamba na kadhalika. Ati Wakisii, ati wao wataona cha mtema kuni usipopiga kura pande hii. Tunasema haki ya Mkenya imelindwa kwa katiba. Unaweza kupiga kura vile unavyotaka,
kwa sababu hawa majamaa wanajua tutawashinda tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8. They know it. They know we have won this election. That is why they are up to all these games. That is why they are publishing opinion polls every other day, because they know we will beat them on the 9th of August, and they want, so that they have excuses on refusing to accept the outcome of this election. We want to give them a warning ahead of time. We will not allow you this time to pull the railway. We will not allow you this time to organize demonstrations.
Wale ni project ya wafisadi wote. Wale wanangojea kunyanyasa Kenya, kuendelea kunyanyasa. Mimi nawauliza Mulembe Nation, let us rescue our country. And the rescue team ni team Azimio.
Well, indeed, political parties intensifying their campaigns right there before we head to the election day, August 9th, indeed, where Kenyans get to decide who gets to be the next leaders. Keep it right here on Kirk Mid-Morning. Do interact with us on our social media pages, Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook and YouTube, using the hashtag Kirk Mid-Morning. We'll be right back in a few. Right now, we take a very short break. Then we'll come back with Grace Kamau, coordinator of survivors of sexual violence, as well as Lona Karumba, who's a counseling psychologist, to talk about mental health and stress management, especially during this electioneering period, a conversation you do not want to miss out on. So keep it right here. See you in a few.
On this week's episode of Know Your Laws, we walk in the corridors of justice.
These small claims courts are very important and paramount courts in this country.
We interrogate the newest development in the structure of the Kenyan judiciary, the Small Claims Court, a basic type of court established under the Small Claims Act of 2016 and later implemented under the Amendment Bill of 2020 that was signed by President Uhuru Kenyatta and began its operation on April 27th of 2021.
And the whole essence of us bringing cases to these courts are for them to be handled faster. The monetary jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court is 1 million. And if I have any matter that goes beyond, I still have a chance to go to another court.
The Small Claim Court has widely spread all over the country. However, little is known about this court, and that's our focus on this episode.
Agosti 9, siku ya siku. Wakenya wazalendo wa matabaka yote wanapania kufanya uamuzi debeni. Uamuzi ambao utaathiri mustakabali wa taifa hili kwa miaka 5 ijayo. Mandani wako runinga ya Kirk, tupo tayari kutembea nawe kila hatua ya uchaguzi mkuu wa Agosti 9. Tutakuletea ripoti za moja kwa moja kutoka kwenye vituo vya kupigia kura, matangazo na uchambuzi wa kipekee studioni hadi nususi za matokeo kila yatakapotukia. Kila siku saa 24 tutakufahamisha kiuhakika na kiufasaha hadi pale mshindi atakapotangazwa. Kirk TV, uchaguzi 2022.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
Siku yetu muhimu, harusi yetu, uwepo wenu nyote. Kwetu ni kitu, kwetu ni nyinyi ndugu, leo na kesho.
Harusi maua, ng'ari ng'ari wanapendeza.
Leo ni furaha, shangwe na furaha.
Harusi maua, tabasamu, suti na shela.
Wacha tufurahi, sote tufurahi. Siti, haikuwa rahisi tufike my baby leo hii. Na hapa tulipo, ndio siku yetu ipo muhimu ya harusi.
Choose life that you may love the Lord your God.
If you delight yourself in the Lord, He will make you fruitful in whatever season you are in.
Listen to His voice and hold fast to Him.
That as disciples ourselves, we're being invited to be transformed more fully every single day.
In our walk with God, let us know that we are assured victory in every battle.
For the Lord is your life.
Live a pure life. Are you living a righteous life before the Lord? It is possible. People are wondering, can you do without corruption? Yes, I can stand and say it is possible to do without corruption.
Don't miss season 2 of the evening epilogue every day at 9:30 p.m. only on Kirk TV.
What a wonderful year our dear God has granted to us. 2022 Boys and Girls Brigade Week. Our theme this year comes from the book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 6. And the Bible says, "The Lord is my helper, I'll not be afraid. What can a mere mortal do to me?" Therefore, from the same theme, we get a consolidated theme of we invite all of you to join us in our programs that are lined up for you in the whole week. We have wonderful morning devotions brought to you from different parts of the Republic of Kenya by young children preaching the Word of God.
My dear parents, my dear brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you with one thing. Tell God, I have to go with you.
We also have wonderful programs brought to you by the hosts of different programs in the Kirk TV majoring on children affairs. Therefore, we invite all of you, children and adults, to join us and have a fantastic week. The climax of the whole week will be on Sunday, when we have wonderful services brought to you through the TV and our YouTube channel and Facebook from different parishes within the Presbyterian Church of East Africa. Note the one that will be coming to you from the neighboring country, St. John's, Kinondoni in Tanzania. We believe that you are going to have a fantastic week of the week as we look forward for next week when we have the general elections, considering trusting in God.
Waters touching your latest breath on the rising tide, you can never fail when your anchor holds deep in.
On this week's episode of Know Your Laws, we walk in the corridors of justice.
These small claims courts are very important and paramount courts in this country.
We interrogate the newest development in the structure of the Kenyan judiciary, the Small Claims Court, a basic type of court established under the Small Claims Act of 2016 and later implemented under the Amendment Bill of 2020 that was signed by President Uhuru Kenyatta and began its operation on April 27th of 2021.
And the whole essence of us bringing cases to these courts are for them to be handled faster. The monetary jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court is 1 million. And if I have any matter that goes beyond, I still have a chance to go to another court.
The Small Claim Court
Vice Chair, we are ready for the elections on 9th of August. We have prepared everything, and right now what we are working on is just a bit of logistics of delivering materials, and as well as a bit of training of the staff that are going to be deployed in the elections, and especially the staff at the polling station level. So the commission is ready, and for us to be able to inform the world that we have indeed delivered a free, fair, and credible election, which is transparent, your reports, your testimonies then come in to add to that transparency that we have been working on. And so mine is to welcome you to Kenya. For those of you who are from outside, as has been mentioned, we have a team of applications of about 18,000 observers who will participate in this year's election. 10,000 have already been processed, including yourselves, and 8,000 are being processed. International observers, about 1,300. The rest are local observers. So we have more observers than the number of candidates who are participating in this year's election. We have about 16,000 candidates contesting for 1,882 elective positions. The technical team will take you through what's expected of you, and they'll also be able to answer most of the do's and the don'ts as you go around the country and as you visit our tallying centers during your mission. But otherwise, for us as a commission, we welcome you. We have other meetings we must run to, but in case you have any questions that touch on the general aspects of the elections, which are not technical, because the technical team will deal with your technical details, you can allow some 2 or 3 questions before we retreat to another meeting. So welcome to Kenya for those of you from outside, and enjoy your stay. Thank you.
A good hand of applause for the chairman. Thank you. Allow me to welcome Joyce Akello, Partnerships Officer, to come and give us a brief on the election observation process, principles of election observation, responsibilities of the Commission, the 2022 general election context, and observers' reports. Now the workshop is officially opened by Mr. Wafula Chebukati. Welcome, Joyce.
Thank you, Tabitha. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to quickly take you through, okay, not very quickly, take you through the roles of, as observers, your roles, your rights and privileges, and how to do your reporting. The first thing we're going to do is define what observation is. And the dictionary definition of observation is to notice or perceive something and register it as significant.
Sorry for that interruption. The chairman and commissioners will be leaving for another very urgent engagement. So we wanted to give you this opportunity. If you have 1 or 2 questions you'd like to ask them before they leave, please. This is your chance. I can see a hand on my right, on my left, at the center, and also on my right. Thank you. And this session will be moderated by none other than Commissioner Francis Wanderi.
Thank you for the opportunity to address our concerns. My name is Aska Muslim from the Regional Government Empowerment Network. My concern is what mechanisms have we put in place to make sure that people with disabilities who are participating as observers can be able to participate fully. For instance, I am a deaf person. I came here and I found we didn't have an interpreter, so I went back to look for my own sign language interpreter to use here for this meeting, and I feel that it's fair. Not only in the national talent center, but even in the counties and the local police stations, what mechanisms do you have in place to make us participate equally with other hearing and non-disabled counterparts? Because without an interpreter, I cannot achieve anything. Even if I'm getting information, I cannot participate fully like I would like to. So, we as an observer, I think it is good to have another interpreter. Thank you.
Another question?
Good morning. I'm Regina Manera from the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Right now we have received an update from the courts that has quashed the non-use of the manual register during the August 9th polls. want the commission to actually respond to this and how this is then going to affect the process in as far as the voting is concerned.
Another question, we asked 3 questions.
Good morning, my name
Observe a workshop to ensure that everyone knows his roles. Perhaps to just point out some of the things that have been said, the hall can accommodate only 2,000 and 2,500 individuals. The numbers will be limited.
We are prepared for the elections come August 9th, ready for the day, the big day. On ground is our reporter Ida Monzati, who's there following up on the conversation as well, and she'll be bringing us up to speed on what is happening. Are there any activities on the ground? Probably secure an interview with one of the commissioners. Ida Monzati will let us know how that goes. Right about now, are we ready to cross over to Ida Monzati, who is in the Bomas of Kenya? You know, following up the conversation on election preparedness, indeed, Kenyans and politicians as well, or rather political hopefuls, had raised different questions regarding preparedness of elections, as well as Form 34A, Form 34B, where yesterday the IEBC announced that be there any irregularities in the Form 34Bs, then what is recorded in the Form 34As will be final. Indeed, the IEBC settling that matter with presidential hopefuls regarding the use of Form 34A first booklet, and already the IEBC has begun transporting ballot papers to different counties, assuring Kenyans of security, promising to airlift ballot boxes where security is not ensured. As we can see, IEBC is on the ground working and ensuring Kenyans a peaceful, fair and, you know, open election, asking Kenyans to go vote, turn out in big numbers come the August of 9th, go vote, and after casting your vote, go back home and follow the elections results on media, indeed, in order to maintain peace. And as we can see, indeed, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission have also launched their security command centers in areas that have been mentioned as hotspot and areas where have been communicated to have or to experience security threat during the electioneering period. Indeed, as we can see, the IEBC is on ground working full force to ensure that Kenyans gain trust in them and Kenya turn out in large numbers to take part in their democratic right, cast their vote, and as I said earlier, cast your vote, go back home, watch the transmission of results on different media platforms. Right here at Kirk TV Kenya, we will be bringing you Uchaguzi 2022, bringing you up to speed to what will be happening, as well updating you on the numbers as we'll be getting them on that day. Right about now, Ida Monzati is on ground at the Bomas of Kenya, the National Election Call Center. We'll be getting in touch with her live shortly, but right about now, let's go for a very short break. Interact with us on our social media pages, Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be back with this discussion in a few.
Siku yetu muhimu, harusi yetu, uwepo wenu nyote. Kwetu ni kitu, kwetu ni nyinyi ndugu, leo na kesho.
harusi maua, ng'ari ng'ari wanapendeza.
Leo ni furaha, shangwe na furaha.
Harusi maua, tabasamu, suti na shela.
Wacha tufurahi, sote tufurahi. Fiti, fiti, fiti. Haikuwa rahisi tufike my baby leo hii. Na hapa tulipo, ndio siku yetu ipo muhimu ya harusi.
Tuendelee na kuombea nchi yetu, na tuombee hata wakati wa uchaguzi na baada ya uchaguzi tuwe na amani, na wale ambao wanawania fiti pia tuwaombee kama vile tunasema, ili pia na wao katika matamshi yao wasije wakaleta uchochezi, wasije wakaleta fujo na furugu. Tuwe na nchi ambao iko na amani, na kila mtu ako na kula yake, achague kulingana na vile conscience yake inamuelekeza na inamuongoza, na vile utakuwa umeomba na Mungu akuongoze na kupeleke. Kanisa hatusemi uchague upande huu au upande ule, tunasema ya kwamba you pray, the church is praying, vote. The most important thing is that you vote, na uvote kulingana na conscience yako vile itakupeleka.
On this week's episode of Know Your Laws, we walk in the corridors of justice.
These small claims courts are very important and paramount courts in this country.
We interrogate the newest development in the structure of the Kenyan judiciary, the Small Claims Court, a basic type of court established under the Small Claims Act of 2016 and later implemented under the Amendment Bill of 2020 that was signed by President Uhuru Kenyatta and began its operation on April 27th of 2021.
And the whole essence of us bringing cases to these courts are for them to be handled faster. The monetary jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court is 1 million. And if I have any matter that goes beyond, I still have a chance to go to another court.
The Small Claim Court has widely spread all over the country. However, little is known about this court, and that's our focus on this episode.
What a wonderful year our dear God has granted to us. 2022 Boys and Girls Brigade Week. Our theme this year comes from the book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 6. And the Bible says, "The Lord is my helper, I'll not be afraid. What can a mere mortal do to me?" Therefore, from the same theme,
unaongea na nguvu. Well, so we are coming to you live from the Bomas of Kenya, which is the National Tallying Center. Even as we head to the national election, there is a session, an ongoing session that is with the IEBC commissioners, including Wafula Chebukati, Francis Wanderi, amongst other commissioners of the IEBC. Remember, we only have 4 days to the general elections happening on Tuesday, 9th August. So some of the questions that were being asked by the observers are including questions from people with disability. The observers will just want to know how exactly the Independence and Boundaries Commission is set to ensure that they vote, because they are also Kenyans despite the disability. And responding to some of the queries that is by the IEBC Commissioner Francis Wanderi is that people living with disability have also been factored. That is, the polling or the voting booths have been positioned in a way that any person, including those with wheelchairs, will be able to vote. Wanderi also mentioned of people with disability, they won't be lining up to vote, so they'll just be proceeding to voting. So those are just some of the things or some of the questions that people living with disability who are observers right here at the National Tallying Center, the Bomas of Kenya, were asking about. So we'll continue just sharing of what exactly is happening here. Remember, we are coming live from the Bomas of Kenya, which is the National Tallying Center. So as I mentioned earlier, there is an ongoing session by observers or amongst other stakeholders by the IEBC commissioner, including Wafula Chebukati.
Allow me to
Hatimaye ni leo, ni siku yetu muhimu, harusi yetu, uwepo wenu nyote, kwetu ni kitu, kwetu ninyi ni ndugu, leo na kesho.
Harusi maua, ng'ari ng'ari wanapendeza.
Leo ni furaha, shangwe na furaha.
Harusi maua, tabasamu, suti na shela.
Wacha tufurahi, sote tufurahi. Siti, haikuwa rahisi tufike my baby leo hii. Na hapa tulipo, ndio siku yetu ipo muhimu ya harusi.
Tuendelee na kuombea nchi yetu, na tuombee hata wakati wa uchaguzi na baada ya uchaguzi tuwe na amani, na wale ambao wanawania fiti pia tuwaombee kama vile tunasema, ili pia na wao katika matamshi yao wasije wakaleta uchochezi, wasije wakaleta fujo na furugu. Tuwe na nchi ambao iko na amani, na kila mtu ako na kula yake, achague kulingana na vile conscience yake inamuelekeza na inamuongoza, na vile utakuwa umeomba na Mungu akuongoze na kupeleke. Kanisa hatusemi uchague upande huu au upande ule, tunasema ya kwamba you pray, the church is praying, vote. The most important thing is that you vote, na uvote kulingana na conscience yako vile itakupeleka.
On this week's episode of Know Your Laws, we walk in the corridors of justice.
These small claims courts are very important and paramount courts in this country.
We interrogate the newest development in the structure of the Kenyan judiciary, the Small Claims Court, a basic type of court established under the Small Claims Act of 2016 and later implemented under the Amendment Bill of 2020 that was signed by President Uhuru Kenyatta and began its operation on April 27th of 2021.
And the whole essence of us bringing cases to these courts are for them to be handled faster. The monetary jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court is 1 million. And if I have any matter that goes beyond, I still have a chance to go to another court.
The Small Claim Court has widely spread all over the country. However, little is known about this court, and that's our focus on this episode.
What a wonderful year our dear God has granted to us. 2022 Boys and Girls Brigade Week. Our theme this year comes from the book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 6. And the Bible says, "The Lord is my helper, I'll not be afraid. What can a mere mortal do to me?" Therefore, from the same theme, we get a consolidated theme of we invite all of you to join us in our programs that are lined up for you in the whole week. We have wonderful morning devotions brought to you from different parts of the Republic of Kenya by young children preaching the Word of God.
My dear parents, my dear brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you with one thing. Tell God, I have to go with you.
We also have wonderful programs brought to you by the hosts of different programs in the Kirk TV majoring on children affairs. Therefore, we invite all of you, children and adults, to join us and have a fantastic week. The climax of the whole week will be on Sunday, when we have wonderful services brought to you through the TV and our YouTube channel and Facebook from different parishes within the Presbyterian Church of East Africa. Note the one that will be coming to you from the neighboring country, St. John's, Kinondoni in Tanzania. We believe that you are going to have a fantastic week of the week as we look forward for next week when we have the general elections, considering trusting in God.
Waters scorching your latest breath on the rising tide, you can never fail when your anchor holds deep in the...
Well, welcome back to Kirk Mid Morning. Indeed, right about now, I am joined by Lorna Karumba, who's a counseling psychologist, and Grace Kamau, who's the coordinator of Survivors of Sexual Violence Network in Kenya. Thank you all so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, today we are talking about mental health and stress management, especially during this electioneering period. So in case you have any questions related to that, drop them on our social media pages and we'll be looking at them. That is at Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook and YouTube. Karibuni sana. I think Lorna will start with you, talking about stress management and mental health issues during the election period. You know, why is it important? Because when we talk about mental health, for me, I believe Kenyans are wondering, yes, it's just normal days, you know, why will this period cause mental health issues or stress?
Okay, first we must understand that mental health is a very big part of our being and who we are. And most importantly, it is good to take care of our mental health, especially in this time. Now, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of, you know, what is going to happen and exactly what is going to transpire in the weeks that are coming. So, of course, we must take care of our mental health, and most importantly, there's a lot of stress going on. You know, of course, fearing what happened in 2007, there are a lot of people who are wondering then what next. Yes. And most especially in our country today, you know, hearing this news over and over again, this person is in this place, politician is in this place, even in the house, there's a lot of noise going around. Our children are now also back at home, so we are also trying, the stress now levels have gone high. Of course, it does not stop that we also have our normal stress of the normal day, like for example, you know, food prices are high, people are talking about no flour, no unga, there's so much going on, and so it can really stress a human being, especially at this point.
Yeah.
Of course, we also do not know what will happen. The uncertainty of, exactly what would happen is what would cause a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Not also putting into the fact that some people may also you don't know the future of after next week, then what next? Our jobs, our livelihoods, our beings, the people that we are, our families. You're not even sure what is happening. And that's why you see in very many family groups, people are checking up on each other ever so often to ask each other, are you okay? What is happening in that area? Especially people living in these areas which are known to be very sensitive, especially during this time. In fact, people are moving out, more than anything. Right now, bus station, Kenya buses to Kisumu, to Eldoret, to Nakuru are all filled up because people are going home due to that stress. So of course there's money that is needed, there's so much that is needed during this time. Yeah.
Well, I like that you mentioned children.
Yes.
Because we think, they're not at that point where they're making a decision or going to vote.
Yeah.
But speaking about health issues, stress during this electioneering period, are they also prone to be stressed?
Yes, of course. Remember, they are also part of it because of what they hear.
Yeah.
Remember, this thing is everywhere. Social media, on our TV platforms, everywhere. Even nowadays, their cartoons are being interrupted. Live broadcasting. Something is happening at IEBC. Something is happening in this place, and so on and so forth. So children are being affected in one way or another. Remember, also there's been a high unrest in schools, especially secondary schools, because now is when people are realizing that, I'm from this specific tribe.
Yeah.
And so there's also, imagine with children who love each other and don't see anything, they're innocent beings, now start to see each other like, this is a certain tribe, this is a certain tribe. So of course, even children need to be taken care of in terms of their mental health. They need to, look at the areas that they need to look out for, especially when they're looking at their mental health. What do they need to do? What happens on that day? Do I just sit there because of course they are not voting? Do I take my parents? Do I accompany them? What will I be doing? Will I be reading? Will I be playing? What will happen at that point? Because of course, even parents are confused. Do I let my kids out to go and play, or there'll be unrest, and so on and so forth. So we also need to take care of our children from the age of as little as 6 months, 2 months, 3 months, all the way, because of also the noise that is happening. This little child could be, could really be uneasy or very restless, especially a 6-month-old baby, 2-month-old baby, because you can imagine the noise that is going around. Now imagine on that day and what will be happening, and so on and so forth.
Grace, talking about the election period, looking at the 2017 statistics from 11 counties indicating that 201 people were victims of violence.
Definitely.
Here we are again during an election period. People are scared. Lorna mentioned that people are traveling home because that's where you feel more safe. People know you. Do you think the government has put in place systems to ensure that violence is not encountered or witnessed?
The government has put some of its mechanism, only that it has not been implemented.
Okay.
Because we live in a scenario where we wait for something to happen so that we can act on it. But let's take back like 3, 4, 5 years ago. Nobody ever thought that this election, the 2022 election, will be it will be heated up like this. So we didn't take any measures. We were not responsive. Right now it's when we are trying to rush up and down, saying we need to keep pace. But what about 3 years ago? Did we talk about this? No, we did not. So from my understanding of Lorna is that there's tension everywhere, and especially in the informal settlement. And I've seen that people are even moving. I've witnessed it, Lorna. And when you see people moving back to their rural homes, not that even the rural homes are safe themselves, because we did a mapping of hotspots in Kenya, and we found that especially in the borders where right now, let us look at political dynamics. It is how it was back in 2007. Only that this time the president himself has decided, like, I'm going to say out in public I'm supporting a certain candidate.
Yes.
Which he's not supporting his number 2. Do you understand the weight of an incumbent standing out and saying, I'm going to support a person who was in opposition, and the person is not who was my number 2, I'm not supporting. Now look at it this way. The person in opposition had a share of his part of the government, and even he has his people. Then we have the person who was who is number 2, who still has his share and his people.
Yeah.
We are talking about these are 2 people who were there during 2007. But now this time they are the same people, like they are facing the same direction, only like they are looking the other way.
Yeah.
And it's like drifting even the community itself. So I do understand there is tension, and especially for women, because in 2007 when KNHRC recorded the 201 survivors of sexual violence, we don't know what is going to happen this time. We are just hoping for peaceful elections, because if there is tension and doubt and uncertainty right now, what will happen on Tuesday evening?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the results of the presidential will be announced, I think, 2 days later. Right? Is it 2 days or the same day?
Not the same day,
Not
probably
same
the following day.
The following day. Now
yes.
imagine the timeline between the last person who gets to vote and the announcement of the presidential. There's that people are feeling insecure, especially like places like Mukuru, Mathare, where it is actually one of the major hotspots in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And you'll find that all the tribes come there. Talking of ethnicity, Mathare is the only place in Nairobi you'll find all the 47 tribes. And you can imagine the tension that it's already there. It is dreadful. It is, I don't know what to say about it, but you can feel the tension as we are heading towards the election. Yes.
And this by itself is a mental stress trigger.
Definitely. Because everybody is like, okay, what will happen on 9th of August? You'll find that even people are trying their best to buy food. Not forgetting we are in an economic crisis. Unga only went for 100 shillings for 3 weeks. Which it was not enough for everyone. And don't forget that this is COVID that struck us in 2019. We were economically drained. So you'll find that those people even living below $1, they're now extremely poor to a point now they cannot afford food to eat. And here are elections. And we don't know what is going to happen. And everybody is anticipating that this may be a 207 thing. Because we do talk to the community members and you ask them, how do you feel about this election? And you just hear them saying like, where? The moment someone doesn't have something to say and just says the word, where? Just know that this person, as much as they think or they want peaceful elections, they don't know how it will go. Yes.
Wow, thank you for the insight, Lorna. During this period where, of course, there's a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what is going to happen. We're living in very difficult socioeconomic times. You don't have money in your pocket. You don't know if you lose your job. How then to deal with all this anxiety and stress that is building up, you know, even before post-election, right now as we head towards the election?
The first thing and most important thing is to understand that it's a stressful period. You know, you cannot really divide that stress is there, and it's in our families, it's in our communities, it's in our children, it's in our neighbors, it's everywhere. So the first thing is to first look at it in this way, that this is an event that has to happen. You know, I love the serenity prayer, and I use it a lot even in all that I do, that grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Now, I cannot change the fact that on Tuesday we'll have an election and there's really nothing we can do about it. So the first thing is to reflect on the bigger picture. What is it going to do for me as an individual? And not to really look at my neighbors or what someone handed me over as, you know, a way to, you know, vote for that person, you know, and so on and so forth, but to reflect on the bigger picture. What do I want in Kenya? Even as we are going to the elections, this is a time to start thinking about it, because we only have a few days. And so reflect on the bigger picture. Then the next part of that prayer says the courage to know the things that I can. And most importantly, we need to know what can we control and what can't we control. Now, the only thing you can control about this election is the vote that you're going to do. And it's whoever came up with the, you know, confidentiality of a vote is a very bright person, because I go there. Doesn't matter who I have told or who I have promised to vote for, but it's up to me. Whatever I do in that booth is up to me and up to, you know, the one who is above. And most importantly is to know what you can control and know what you can't control. Now, you can't control someone else's vote, but you can control yours. Then most importantly, the anxiety is caused by, you know, all this watching and, you know, everything that is happening. I remember even while we're going through COVID, they used to, tell us that, avoid a lot of watching of the news, social media and so on. Take a break from these things because sometimes the anxiety can be really, really high. So continue on with your normal businesses. If you're not able to work, if you're on holiday, take time, take a break, relax at some point. Take a break from the news, limit the time of news that you're watching. Actually, they say don't watch, read it, because reading kind of gives you the opportunity to actually analyze, but watching the tone of voice and so on and so forth could affect. Then as much as possible, let's connect with other people. Check up on your friends, take up your phone that day, because I'm sure that day everyone will be glued on the screens. Check up on your mom who is in the village, check up on your brothers and sisters who are living maybe in these high spot areas as she was talking about, and just check up on them. That connecting helps a lot with the anxiety and so on and so forth. Then most importantly, self-care. You must ensure that you continue to take care of yourself. If it is what the normal routine that you do, maybe read a book, listen to music, take a walk, do that. I really like, I remember the last election, what was happening in our estate was people were calling each other from homes, hey, can you come out, let's take a walk. We walk from point A to point B. We just go talking about something different, just to take a break from that before we come back again to the house to listen again to more news about these things. To take a break and to ensure that you take care of yourself. Remember, you eat well, take a balanced diet, ensure you exercise as much as possible. Just reduce the anxiety as much as possible, and if and when it becomes too much, remember to seek for help, because again, we know that mental health has, of course, the boundaries that it has, and so we must ensure how am I? Ask yourself that question really critically. Don't just say, how am I? I'm good. The normal question we have. How am I? I'm very anxious. I'm getting the panic attacks. My heart is really beating very fast. Seek for help, because we are here and we are trying as much as possible to, give the world the information that is there, that, help is there and help is needed, especially during this time.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that point of take a break, because for me, I remember last elections, I was glued on the screens because you want to know, did my candidate win? And when you see the numbers, if it's close enough, there's that anxiety that builds up and which might not be healthy. So I like that. Take a break, stick to your normal routine as well. Grace, yesterday while I was scrolling on social media, came across a post where Kenyans in a certain part of Nairobi, landlords have asked the tenants, if you're not of this tribe, move out already. And for me, I'd say this is worrying, because I've lived in this house for this long. So why all of a sudden today you wake up and tell me to move out, I'm paying my rent and all that, only because of the elections, for a Kenyan who is experiencing this, because this is happening, how would you tell them to deal with that?
There's law. And there's something that I also have a problem with Kenyans. We did pass the 2010 Constitution. But even how many Kenyans read the 2010 Constitution? You'll find that a landlord cannot evict you without a 3-month notice. So if this landlord wanted to evict the tenant, he or she would have given the tenant a 3-month notice. And this is what happened. This is the good thing about the law, is that tenant has the right to take the landlord to court, and he or she can justify that my landlord is kicking me out. He or she did not give me a notice, and I feel this is not even the time for me to move out because I was not even ready for it. So I think Kenyans should take the approach of legal. We should read our constitution, understand it, so that it protects our right. You as a tenant has every right to stay there, as long as you keep paying your bills and you're in good terms with the landlord. And I'll go back to Lorna. Lorna, there's something that people don't understand about self-care. When you tell someone like Grace Kamau, maybe who comes from a certain informal settlement, to avoid things that are happening right now, like the news, we can't avoid them. In fact, we are the people who make this news. Like, for instance, maybe this is not posted on social media or maybe on the mainstream media, but right now we do have even some clashes in some areas. So you cannot ask someone from an informal settlement to take a break from this politics, because they feel like, this is my life. Whatever decision is going to be made, I have to keep up. And talking of self-care, people don't understand what self-care is. They just think they feel like it's another expense. Like, why should I go on vacation to take a break while I can continue working? And you live in the same environment which is toxic to a point you yourself become toxic to it, and it's like a symbiotic relationship. We are both toxic, the environment and yourself. So you're getting yourself out of that zone to give yourself self-care. It's quite a lot.
Right.
And checking up on each other. We are at a stage where it is even becoming difficult in some areas. How can you check up on another person when you yourself, you're in doubt, your intention, you don't know what is happening? Like right now, if you look at in Mathare, we have the Mlango Kubwa and we have the Ngei. You'll find different tribes there. As much as we want to check up on ourselves, and the other area is supporting a certain candidate, and my area is supporting another candidate, there's that fear of, if I go ahead and check up on that person, what will he think of me? So there's that tension, and I think Kenyans need to be taught that mental health is not just taking a vacation. It's about like sitting back, relaxing, breathing in and breathing out. So as you asked me, the first question is that Kenyans need to understand their rights. That landlord has no right to kick you out in whatever way. Yes.
All right. It is about understanding your right, but also then comes a question of safety, because you can still remain there because you know they have no legal right to evict me. But then here comes August 9th. Here comes the probability of violence. There's already tension. Should I still stay here or not? We'll be looking at that after this very short break. If you're watching us from home, let us know what measures have you put in place, to ensure that come the August of 9th, come what may, you or probably your family are well taken care of. Keep it right here. We'll be back in a few.
Tuendelee na kuombea nchi yetu, na tuombee hata wakati wa uchaguzi na baada ya uchaguzi tuwe na amani, na wale ambao wanawania fiti pia tuwaombee kama vile tunasema, ili pia na wao katika matamshi yao wasije wakaleta uchochezi, wasije wakaleta fujo na furugu. Tuwe na nchi ambao iko na amani, na kila mtu ako na kula yake, achague kulingana na vile conscience yake inamuelekeza na inamuongoza, na vile utakuwa umeomba na Mungu akuongoze na kupeleke. Kanisa hatusemi uchague upande huu au upande ule. Tunasema ya kwamba you pray, the church is praying, vote. The most important thing is that you vote. Na uvote kulingana na conscience yako vile itakupeleka.
On this week's episode of Know Your Laws, we walk in the corridors of justice.
These small claims courts are very important and paramount courts in this country.
We interrogate the newest development in the structure of the Kenyan judiciary, the Small Claims Court, a basic type of court established under the Small Claims Act of 2016 and later implemented under the Amendment Bill of 2020 that was signed by President Uhuru Kenyatta and began its operation on April 27th of 2021.
And the whole essence of us bringing cases to these courts are for them to be handled faster. The monetary jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court is 1 million. And if I have any matter that goes beyond, I still have a chance to go to another court.
The Small Claim Court has widely spread all over the country. However, little is known about this court, and that's our focus on this episode.
I'm Celestine Kemunto. I'm taking a bachelor's in business information technology. I chose ZTech because, first of all, ZTech has been ranked among the best in ICT, and I thought it will be best. It will be best for my course. First of all, we have there are so many ICT labs in ZTech University, which enables students, mostly those who are pursuing IT courses, to get to know more about their courses, of which the labs have so many computers which have Ethernet, which is easier for them to browse. If I were given a chance to choose another university, I'll definitely choose ZTech University.
Apply today. ZTech University. Invent your future.
All right, welcome back to the second part of this conversation. With me is Lorna Karumba and Grace Kamau, and we're talking about just how to handle the mental stress and anxiety that comes with electioneering period. And Lorna, we cannot talk about, mental stress and anxiety without mentioning the politicians who are campaigning, traversing the country. Sometimes you wonder, do they really sleep? How does this affect their mental health?
Now, remember that this is, maybe they've stopped their livelihoods, their jobs, maybe they had businesses that they had to close down. Actually, I had a moment to interact with one of them from my local village, and one of them was just telling me how it has even affected the family. The children now have really stopped going to school, to help them to campaign, and to, it's so stressful. I can only imagine what goes on in that house, and you can imagine most of them have families, most of them have, and just not the extended or procreated family. We also have the immediate family, like the mothers, the fathers from the villages, and the anxiety and the campaigns are going through. And so of course, even for them, it's a matter of, how am I going to do this? And remember, you can imagine if you're getting into something, of course your goal is to get and just finish and win and be happy and celebrate and move on. But now there's a point of the loss. What happens with those who are losing? That's why I think there was a time that they were talking about how to protect those who lose and what happens to them. Because normally they're just cut off the limelight. Once the posters come down, we forget that there was now number 2 or number 3. So what happens to them? What happens to their lives? What happens to their children, their families? So it's a lot to do with even the politicians and taking care of their mental health. Because they must understand that they've done this for basically as long as we can remember, from the moment the other election was done, this person has been preparing for this. Remember also this year has also spread very fast, that you found that by January people started getting money, trying to get loans. Some of them got loans from various organizations, various places, to start their campaigns. So what happens after that? What's the question? What's the loss that happens immediately after the loss? What happens? And then also immediately after the win, what happens? You can imagine, maybe I'm just a businessman in a specific area and I decided to vie, then I win. What happens after that? What happens to my family? It's a very big question that they need to ask themselves.
I like the question, what happens to those who lose? Because honestly, and it is true, we never think about them. Once the day has come, we know the winners, that's it. Unless they also keep themselves busy and appearing on the media. But then there are those who deal with the loss in a very difficult way. We've heard of others who've committed suicide. We've heard of others who are no longer productive in the society. And all we do is talk about it in harsh tones, and never think of how can they be helped. And I like the fact that you've also brought the families to show that it is bigger than the individual, because there are also other people who are included, other people who are hopeful that this person is going to win. How then can they, mentally accept and deal with the loss?
Okay, first and foremost, it is to take, again, a break from what has just happened. Of course, loss happens in a very big way. It depends also on how much invested you are in the process. Most of them, you'll find once they've lost, they kind of get a lot of support from their families. But there are those who even get a lot of stigma from the family. Like, you see, you've wasted all our money. The wives, the husbands are asking, so what is the point of all this? We would have used that money to start a business. We would have taken our kids to school. So what next? So one thing we must understand, it's loss. And the way we deal with loss, even as psychologists, is the way we lose the death of someone is the same way that we look into loss, even loss of something. If I lose my phone, I'll still go through the same stages as someone else who maybe has lost someone. So they must ensure that they know that they're stages of grief or stages of loss and grief, and most importantly that they go through them with a lot of acceptance. And of course the first stage is denial, where of course it will happen, and the day they will come, as we know. Let's just even take the presidential one, what happened in 2007, what again happened the next year of elections. So there's a denial of, no, this cannot happen. Then the next thing, there's a little bit of bargaining. You start telling, maybe you start to bargain, maybe you go back and say, they were rigged, this and this happened. You're trying to bargain to see what happened. You go and tell the people who voted for you, no, this person is bad, this what happened, they brought in people. You're not really accepting, you're trying to bargain with them. They also bargain with God, God, just give me an opportunity, I'll become your servant, I'll do everything. Immediately after that, there's a bit of anger, where they feel, I'm so angry at the world, I'm so angry at my life. And you find most of them would even, drift away from people. You find this person was a politician, was speaking everywhere, but all of a sudden they're so quiet. That's why they fall again into depression, to committing suicide, and so on and so forth. Then after that, they get into now depression, a form of depression of loss and grief, where now they're quiet, they're lonely, they're sad, because now it's 2-3 months down the line, and now this person who was your opponent, who actually won, is now moving on with life, and they've won, and you've realized the bargaining didn't work, your anger didn't work, so you get into depression. And then after some point, which is very hard for people to get to, is acceptance. What happens now? I need to accept this. So most importantly, this cannot be done as a vacuum. It can't be done singular, like I'm by myself. Remember, your family has been affected, your children have been affected, maybe those people around you, your friends maybe have deserted you. Now he's no longer a winner, I've moved on with my life. So most importantly, even for those who have lost, you need to first connect with yourself. What are my feelings? What are my emotions? What am I actually feeling? Now this one, I must really talk to the men out there, because men tend to think, I'm strong, I didn't win, I move on. Men, it is to move on, and tomorrow you're back to business. But it doesn't matter, because you really need to connect with what I'm feeling. After you connect with what you're feeling, you now reflect on those emotions. What am I actually feeling? Do I need help? Do I need to connect with someone? Do I need to talk to people? And so on and so forth. Then from there, you express your feelings. Now there are various ways people can express their feelings. Continue on with your work, as I had said. Continue, maybe you can start maybe a regime in which you can do some self-care. Remember, it's not the end of life, and most importantly, it is to give your time that period, because remember, the 5 stages of grief have to be passed through, and most of them, it's not like that, like denial, anger. No, it can come denial, then acceptance, then you get back to denial, go again to depression. So we must ensure that we take care of our mental health. Mental health is a priority. The way we take care of our physical health, immediately I get a stomachache, I'm on my way to a health center, I'm on my way to a hospital, is the same way we need to take care of our mental health. Because the problem with mental health, by the time you're getting to suicide, I think you could have sorted it out way before.
Okay, so for politicians, both who win or lose, they need to seek mental health care. Grace, coming to you, of course, if the politician loses, the fans, let me call them fans, or supporters of that politician who had invested, put faith, that they're going to win. We have people who've given their money, people who've taken breaks from work or ignored their business, and then here the person is supporting loses. How to deal with that, especially because sometimes it's so hurtful that you want to attack the person who is supporting you, the opponent, forgetting that it is not about you two, it's not about them, it's a way bigger picture. So you, as a supporter of a certain politician, how then to deal with the loss?
There's no, just accepting, because nothing can be done. And I do understand that there are fans who are like, when a candidate loses, they decide even to go haywire on the candidate. And what do you gain? that's a double loss. You
Yeah.
already lost the seat, and now here you are ganging up against the candidate. So I think what we as voters, we're not just fans, we are voters.
Yeah.
We as voters, we should accept the results. Because at the end of the day, there is just life after 9th of August. You need like to get yourself back together. You need to get yourself back on the grid. Like, this is my work routine or my workout routine. I have to take care of my family, because if you direct too much of your anger towards that candidate, you'll even be the one end up losing.
Yes.
And what do you gain out of it? Nothing.
Yeah.
So I think we as voters, come 9th of August, and this is my message to you, whatever the outcome, accept it. Let's go back home and let's try to revive our economy, our livelihoods. And even I know of a situation where because of the so-called funds and psychophancy, families have been broken, because you'll find that one side of the family support a certain candidate, another side of the family support a certain candidate, but out of the two, one of them will have to lose. And I think what we as voters should, our main focus should be, the elections have happened. What are these people going to do for us?
Yeah.
They were voted in. Let me put an example. Maybe I never voted for the candidate who won. I should not start attacking that candidate by like he rigged. It has happened. So what I should do is let me sit down and I voted as an MCA. Is my MCA that I never voted for oversighting this? Are the community-based organization, are they being supported by the so-called politicians after they have been voted in? So we need to put in check our politicians after, so that we don't get to focus on ourselves and beat up ourselves.
Yes.
Now let's make them work for it. Yes.
Okay. Women and children find themselves in a very tricky situation, in sad situation, because just speaking about, your candidate has lost, you are angry, you take that anger back home to your wife, to your child, and then they end up becoming victims of domestic violence. Speaking about that issue, how can we as a society come out of that?
As a society, how we can come out of domestic violence? The first thing is we should acknowledge that there is domestic violence. Because we've been trying to fight these like, oh no, there's a certain saying like ati kitanda watu wakilalia wawili ujui siri zake. There's nothing like that. That person is beating you up and ruining your life, and you'll still go ahead and say, oh, this person is my husband, I cannot leave him. I think the first thing that we as voters, especially, I'll put it in the bracket of women, because we are the one who gets, who are the most vulnerable.
Yes.
Haya matendo ni sisi yanatupatanga kwa nyumba zetu, even when we are not even aware of them. What we should know is that we should learn about the response and the prevention. And because, what do you call this saying of prevention is better than cure? We should learn to prevent a certain thing. Like that situation, that your husband is supporting even a person who gets to lose. Prepare your man mentally. Like, if elections don't go this way, I think we should focus on a certain thing. You are directing something towards somewhere else, because if the candidate of that man loses, you know that your man is going to direct that anger towards you. So you'll have to find a way that you focus that energy somewhere else. Maybe like it's business, it's workout. That is one of the best way of prevention. Because we cannot just always be waiting for response. Yes.
Wow, I like how you put it. Lorna, as we come to a conclusion of this segment, of course, we have indeed put it clear that this electioneering period tags along its own stressors, other than the normal life. Speaking to our fans who are watching you right now, what message would you tell them in terms of safeguarding their mental health during this period and even after?
Okay. So I like what she said, that there's life after the 9th of August. And for me, I'll just use an acronym of BRAVE. Being brave, because this is a moment where there's too much, there's too much uncertainty. We don't even know if on 9th of August we'll even wake up to vote, for example. So being brave means the B is for bodily reactions. We need to take care of our body. Remember also there are things that come about with a lot of stress, headaches, for example, stomach aches, backaches, so many things, painful experiences in our body. So we need to check up on that. Then R is for realistic expectations. We need to be realistic. As she says, we have to accept the results. Whether or not we want to accept the results, we must move on. Because as I had said, just before, like if we look at how our elections or our politicians have, showed us that it's not the end. They'll still come back at some point in one way or another. They'll still come back at some point to vie again. So if we've lost this time, we can still win. We can never. There's a very nice poster that is usually in our house that becoming number one is easier than remaining number one. So of course there's a point where this person will end up to become. Then A is for acceptance. Remember, acceptance is the main thing here, because at the end of the day, on 9th of August, elections will be done, as I said, and at the end of it all, there'll be results. And after that, we have to accept the results. Then V is for validation of our feelings. How am I feeling? As I talked about the losing or the winning, how am I feeling about winning? Also winning has its own, do I celebrate? Do I help do I look like, what do I do to my supporters? Am I really ready for what I said? I had given a lot of things, maybe they were just a lot of talk, but there was no action. Now what do I do? There's that shock. Then the E is for end. That at the end of all this, there's an end to everything. Maybe we're going to be talking about this 4 months from now and be saying, oh, actually, the election ended and now we've moved on with our lives. So start to think about now from there, what is the end of these elections? That we need to get back to our lives, we need to start our families, we need to continue seeing how we can, put up our economy. So we need to be brave as much as possible. And the most important of my mantra is that it's okay not to be okay. But it just doesn't end there as long as we don't give up. Because at the end of the day, if we just say it's okay not to be okay, then what happens after that? Let's not give up, because at the end of the day, let's wake up, let's exercise our duties to vote. Remember, it's only you who can make the difference.
Well, thank you for that. Let's be brave. And it's okay not to be okay, but it doesn't end there. Grace, what would be a parting shot?
My parting shot is that mental health is very important. The only issue, I won't call it an issue, is that where I come from, or let us look at the country's population, most people live below $1, and they don't understand that when they are mentally stressed, it even affects everything in their surrounding. And most of these people cannot even afford psychologists. So I will urge our government, as we are going to form the next government, because mental health is a global issue. It needs to set up it needs to set up a system where every person in this country is catered for mentally. The government has enough funding for people like Lona to come to a place like Mathare and even give a therapy session to maybe the voters afterwards, after the election. So what I'm looking forward is peaceful elections and mental stability for all of us.
Wow, I think that's very, very enlightening, that the government also needs to consider people who cannot afford mental health care and put systems in place to ensure that they get it. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you for your wisdom. So even as we head towards the election, let's be brave. And remember that life does not end come the August of 9th. There's a whole lot more that continues. So let's ensure that we create a peaceful environment for us to move on with our lives. All right. Thank you all. We're taking a very short break, but keep it right here, because Kirk Mid-Morning still continues in a few.
Tuendelee na kuombea nchi yetu, na tuombee hata wakati wa uchaguzi na baada ya uchaguzi tuwe na amani. Na wale ambao wanawania viti pia tuwaombee kama vile tunasema, ili pia na wao katika matamshi yao wasije wakaleta uchochezi, wasije wakaleta fujo na furugu, tuwe na nchi ambao iko na amani na kila mtu ako na kula yake, achague kulingana na vile conscience yake inamuelekeza na inamuongoza, na vile utakuwa umeomba na Mungu akuongoze na kupeleke. Kanisa hatusemi uchague upande huu au upande ule, tunasema ya kwamba you pray, the church is praying, fought. The most important thing is that you fought, na ufought kulingana na conscience yako vile itakupeleka.
Hatimaye ni leo, ni siku yetu muhimu, harusi yetu, uwepo wenu nyote. Kwetu ni kitu, kwetu ninyi ni ndugu, leo na kesho.
Harusi maua, ng'ari ng'ari wanapendeza.
Leo ni furaha, shangwe na furaha.
Harusi maua, tabasamu, suti na shela.
Wacha tufurahi, sote tufurahi. Siti. Haikuwa rahisi tufike maybe leo hii, na hapa tulipo ndio siku yetu ipo muhimu ya harusi.
On this week's episode of Know Your Laws, we walk in the corridors of justice.
These small claims courts are very important and paramount courts in this country.
We interrogate the newest development in the structure of the Kenyan judiciary, the Small Claims Court, a basic type of court established under the Small Claims Act of 2016 and later implemented under the Amendment Bill of 2020 that was signed by President Uhuru Kenyatta and began its operation on April 27th of 2021.
And the whole essence of us bringing cases to these courts are for them to be handled faster. The monetary jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court is 1 million. And if I have any matter that goes beyond, I still have a chance to go to another court.
The Small Claim Court has widely spread all over the country. However, little is known about this court, and that's our focus on this episode.
What a wonderful year our dear God has granted to us. 2022 Boys and Girls Brigade Week. Our theme this year comes from the book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 6. And the Bible says, "The Lord is my helper, I'll not be afraid. What can a mere mortal do to me?" Therefore, from the same theme, we get a consolidated theme of we invite all of you to join us in our programs that are lined up for you in the whole week. We have wonderful morning devotions brought to you from different parts of the Republic of Kenya by young children preaching the Word of God.
My dear parents, my dear brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you with one thing. Tell God, I have to go with you.
We also have wonderful programs brought to you by the hosts of different programs in the Kirk TV majoring on children affairs. Therefore, we invite all of you, children and adults, to join us and have a fantastic week. The climax of the whole week will be on Sunday, when we have wonderful services brought to you through the TV and our YouTube channel and Facebook from different parishes within the Presbyterian Church of East Africa. Note the one that should be coming to you from the neighboring country, St. John's Kinondoni in Tanzania. We believe that you are going to have a fantastic week of the week as we look forward for next week when we have the general elections, considering trusting in God.
Water scorching your latest breath on the rising tide, you can never fail when your anchor holds deep in the...
Agosti 9, siku ya siku. Wakenya wazalendo wa matabaka yote wanapania kufanya uamuzi debeni. Uamuzi ambao utaathiri mustakabali wa taifa hili kwa miaka 5 ijayo. Mandani wako runinga ya Kirk, tupo tayari kutembea nawe kila hatua ya uchaguzi mkuu wa Agosti 9. Tutakuletea ripoti za moja kwa moja kutoka kwenye vituo vya kupigia kura, matangazo na uchambuzi wa kipekee studioni hadi nususi za matokeo kila yatakapotukia. Kila siku saa 24 tutakufahamisha kiuhakika na kiufasaha hadi pale mshindi atakapotangazwa. Kirk TV, uchaguzi 2022.
Choose life that you may love the Lord your God.
If you delight yourself in the Lord, He will make you fruitful in whatever season you are in.
Listen to His voice and hold fast to Him.
That as disciples ourselves, we're being invited to be transformed more fully every single day.
In our walk with God, let us know that we are assured victory in every battle.
For the Lord is your life.
Live a pure life. Are you living a righteous life before the Lord? It is possible. People are wondering, can you do without corruption? Yes, I can stand and say it is possible to do without corruption.
Don't miss season 2 of the evening epilogue every day at 9:30 p.m. only on Kirk TV.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
All right, thank you so much for keeping it and staying with us right here at Kirk Mid-Morning. Indeed, we have had a very awesome conversation on mental health and stress management during this electioneering period. Right about now, we're crossing over live at Bomas of Kenya, where reporter Ida Monzatsi is on ground just to let us know how it is. IEBC, how ready are they? Earlier on, we saw the chairman, Wafula Chebukati, speaking on IEBC's preparedness. Ida Monzatsi brought us as well up to speed on what was going on. Stakeholders asking questions as well on how IEBC is planning to ensure that even people living with disabilities have cast their vote with ease come the August of 9th. So let's cross over live to Ida Monzatsi. Ida, how are things right at Bomas, and what is IEBC saying on matters preparedness?
Well, indeed, Faith, we are coming to you live from the National Tallying Center, that is the Bomas of Kenya. And as you can see, I'm just outside the National Elections Media Center. Remember, according to the Independence and Boundaries Commission, they can be a parallel tallying center, and probably this is exactly where the media will also be tallying the presidential election results as well. And before we just share with you of what exactly is happening or how the media center looks like, just to give you a background of what exactly, or according to the Independent and Boundaries Commission presser yesterday, remember there is a Friday, tomorrow and Saturday, there'll be a transporting of the presidential ballot papers to different counties. And according to the Independence and Boundaries Commission, there will be 5 counties which are in the insecurity areas. That is Mandera, Tana River, Turkana, that is Garissa, as well as Lamu, where the ballot or the presidential ballot papers will be airlifted. And just to share with you a few facts from their briefing yesterday, that is our presidential or other polling materials have been transported or have been transported to 35 different counties and 216 constituencies. Just remaining a few counties, as I mentioned, 35 counties have received polling materials, including ballot papers, and 216 constituencies. So tomorrow, that is Friday, as well as Saturday, there will be the presidential ballot papers that will be transported to different particular counties, and 5 specific counties have been marked by the Independence and Boundaries Commission. That is Wajir, Garissa, Turkana, Mandera, as well as Lamu. So we are coming to you from the Bomas of Kenya. That is the National Tallying Center, where the presidential results will be streaming in. And just to share with you a few education about what exactly will be happening here, or how the results will be announced, or how the results will be transmitted. That's just the transmission part. So we have the polling station. That's where most of us will be voting from. We have the constituency tallying center. We also have the National Tallying Center, as well as the county tallying center. So remember, we are coming to you live from the Bomas of Kenya. This is the National Tallying Center, where the presidential results will be transmitted from. So at the polling station, this is where the counting of votes and filling of results form will be happening. That's in the polling stations. We also have the constituency tallying center. This is where the national member of assembly, as well as MCA results will be announced. Now at the county tallying center, that is where the senatorial as well as the gubernatorial results will be announced. That is by the deputy returning officers. And now at the National Tallying Center, that is where the returning officers will be announcing the presidential results at the National Tallying Center. Remember, the National Tallying Center is right here at the Bomas of Kenya. And as you can see, as I mentioned earlier, we are just outside the National Elections media center. This is where the different media stations in Kenya and even outside Kenya will be seated and just broadcasting live to what exactly will be happening right here at the National Tallying Center. So as I just shared with you, Friday, that is tomorrow, as well as Saturday, there'll be transportation of the presidential ballot papers which arrived in the country yesterday evening. So according to the Independence and Boundaries Commission, 5 counties, that is Wajir, Mandera, Garissa, Turkana, as well as Lamu, there'll be the presidential ballot papers that arrived in the country yesterday will be airlifted. This is just independence or according to the insecurity in this area. So just to ensure security of the ballot papers, and according to the Independence and Boundaries Commission, as far as or after these ballot papers have been transferred to these 5 counties, they'll still be on the watch or on the lookout by security officers. So earlier on we had an ongoing session by the IEBC just training the observers. Remember, we have observers from the European Union, the African Union, the United Nations. There is a session that is ongoing, and in a few we'll just let you know or let you have a look of what exactly is happening there. The session is ongoing, and if my camera person can just take us now to the media center for us to have a look of how exactly the media center looks like and what exactly will be happening here. So this is the media tallying or the media center right here at the Bomas of Kenya, which is the national show us of how the media center looks like. Remember, I just shared with you of what exactly is happening here. This is the National Tallying Center, so that's exactly how the media center looks like right here at the National Tallying Center at the Bomas of Kenya. So this is where the different media stations in Kenya and even outside Kenya will be streaming and even broadcasting live of what exactly will be happening. So that's exactly how the media center looks like. So keep it Kirk TV just to see and understand of how exactly the media center looks like. Remember, we will be broadcasting live from the Bomas of Kenya, which is the National Tallying Center of the election, even as we have only 4 days remaining to the general election. So that's exactly how the media center looks like. Remember, we only have 4 days left to the general election. So what you're seeing right now is how the ballot papers will be looking at. The white ballot paper will be for the presidential ballot, that is white. As you can see, the green ballot paper, that is for the member of National Assembly. The beige paper will be for county assembly ward. And for the yellow paper, that is the senator's ballot. For the purple paper, that is the county women member of National Assembly, that is the purple ballot paper. For the governor's ballot paper will be blue in color. So do not be confused with the color. The presidential ballot paper will be white. Green will be for member of National Assembly. Beige is for county assembly ward. Yellow is the senator's ballot paper. Purple will be for county woman member of National Assembly. And blue will be for the governor's ballot paper. Remember, we are coming to you live from the Bomas of Kenya. That is the National Tallying Center Remember, we have, let me say, like 4 tallying center. We have the polling station, the constituency polling center, the county polling center, where the governors and senators' results will be streamed live. Then we have the national tallying center right here at the Bomas of Kenya. So that is all we had for you. Faith, in case you have any question, you can ask, or we can just proceed with our normal programming.
Well, Ida Munzati coming live from Bomas. Thank you so much, Ida Munzati, for bringing us up to speed with what is happening at Bomas of Kenya, the National Tallying Center of IEBC. You showing us, you know, the different ballot papers for the presidential candidates as well as the other positions as well. And it's such a good job, Ida. Thank you. Definitely we'll get back to you to tell us what is happening. But right about now, let's continue with the conversation on healthy living and want to understand matters nutrition, especially during this electioneering period. You know, are people really watching their weight or watching what they eat rather? So with me in studio is Wanjohi Simon, who's a clinical nutritionist, and at the very far end is Roseanne Karimi, who's a nutrition expert. Thank you so much for joining us this morning right here at Kirk TV.
Thank you.
When we talk about, I think let's start with defining nutrition, because when we talk about nutrition, what then does that mean? We'll start with you, Roseanne. What is nutrition?
Well, I will define nutrition as, you know, it's the state of having nutrients, or, you know, taking food adequately, adequate food with adequate nutrition, the right foods, that is, because, you know, nutrition is broad, because you might say that, oh, I know that I'm taking good food, so what, why am I still underweight, why am I obese? So nutrition is all about taking the right food in the right amount that is going to be absorbed in the body and help the body. Yes.
Okay. You talked about good food.
Yes.
Which then also makes me think about bad food, of course. And when we talk about bad food, what comes in my head, where is junk? You know, all the fries and chicken and the potatoes that we eat. Talk about good food and bad food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's unhealthy food.
Unhealthy food.
Unhealthy
okay.
food. Because the moment we say bad food, there are people who will be like, bad.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, the right food is, of course, healthy foods, whole foods, you know, vegetables, anything that has the right nutrients to help you as a human being, and the body and the immune system and everything that you got as a human being to nourish, you know. And then unhealthy foods, we all know them. They have been labeled as unhealthy. We have junks. We have, you know, junks, of course, it's a broad spectrum, of course. We have fries, all those things. And we can also term unhealthy foods as those foods that they are unnecessary in your body. Like, they don't have that function to help you in your body. Yes.
Okay. Wanjohi, let me come to you. It is during the election period. People are going to take a break from work. Schools have already closed till after the elections, and we don't know till when. Hopefully, we'll go back to work as soon as possible. But with the uncertainty of anything might come up, which might lead us to stay home for a longer period of time, you know, how then should someone ensure that during this stay, while they're at home, they take in healthy food and food that has good nutrition?
Okay, a good question. So first of all, I will echo the words Roseanne have talked about nutrition. And nutrition is more of art and science. It's more of art because it starts right from the preparation of that food and way beyond even to the growth of that. Maybe it's a plant or is farming, if it's an animal, to the preparation of the food in the kitchen. And that preparation is what separates the healthy foods from unhealthy foods. So nutrition then is termed as science because it deals now we look on the impact the food we are consuming to our lifestyle, to our bodies. So it's both an art and science. So looking on the electioneering period and the impact of nutrition, we can correlate it with the period the coronavirus came on, and there was lockdown everywhere. Schools were closed and people went back home. So basically there will be some positive impact of nutrition to this period that people are home, students are home, and people will be away from work, and still there will be some negative impacts. For example, those parents who have young kids will have chances to breastfeed their babies, which is a positive impact. And those, for example, you're working in a town center where you cannot access the right food, the good food that Rosanne has described it earlier. You rely on junk food, the sodas, the deep fried. You will have a chance to at least walk away from from those deep fried, those unhealthy food, and let you prepare your own food. So it's basically, it will have positive impacts and negative impact. Of important at this period, let's now break the monotony of our lifestyle. Like those who have been working in offices, this is a great chance for you to avoid the sedentary lifestyle. You know, nutrition and exercise, like they are twins. They work hand in hand. So still, those who have been working in offices, unable in places that you are not able to exercise fully, this is a great chance for you to exercise. And the recommendation of exercises is just basically 45 minutes each day. Right exercise.
So of course, watch what you eat, but also have a little bit of movement here and there. It's important.
It's very important.
I want us to speak about politicians. We've seen them campaigning. When you go on social media, others will talk about, so-and-so has gained weight, you know, or so-and-so has lost weight drastically just because of the up and down and all that. When we talk about politicians moving from one place to another, how important is it for them to maintain a good, you know, relationship with nutrition and watch what they eat?
Okay, that's a good question, because first and foremost, these are human beings, okay? And they might be very busy, and of course they have time at home. They also have some little time, if not a lot of time, to take their time and eat. Okay, so let's talk about them being away from home, and they have all these things going on. They have to be, I don't know where, you know. So it's very crucial for them to consider, at least consider, taking a meal. Okay, so because nutrition is not all about, you know, about when we're talking about gaining weight and losing weight, there are people who really gain weight, but they don't eat a lot. Some of them just take breakfast or lunch or just one meal in a day, but you'll always often find them that, they are gaining weight, you know. Some of them do not even eat, but they drastically lose weight. So weight and politicians and nutrition can be contributed by a number of factors. Okay. Some of the factors include their frequency of eating, of course, the meals. Secondly, if we're talking about matters of adding weight, how often do they eat? What do they eat? How is their house? So, you know, there's these fridges in the house. And a lot of people, I don't know if they really stock healthy foods there, but you know, whatever really matters when you're at home is what kind of food is near you. Because if I have crisps here, I have popcorn here, I have, I don't know what there, and for me to get a fruit it requires me to get out of the house. So
these are things that already are labeled unhealthy, so they will contribute to what you gaining weight. Losing weight, we can attribute it to very many factors. When you're talking about politicians, they have stress. We have just been talking about mental health, and they have stress, work on some level of stress, you know, because in our Sumbua, they don't know what will happen next, you know, so that can be a factor of them losing weight. Maybe underlying health conditions, maybe they don't even eat well, they don't have that time to eat, you know. So a lot of factors about adding and losing weight that we cannot just point at this is what is causing that.
All right. We're talking about nutrition, and I think maybe we should have started with this, but it's okay. Then when we talk about malnutrition, what is that, Wanjohi?
So malnutrition is a very broad term, and currently in our country and everywhere in the world, we are struggling with double burden of malnutrition. Malnutrition basically describes overnutrition and undernourishment. When I talk about overnutrition, there I look overweight and obesity as large. Overweight is classified as BMI of 25 to 29.9. Above 29.9 is obesity. And obesity then is graded according to grades, grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. Now, for undernutrition is any BMI for age for adults above 18 years below 18.5. That is kilograms per meter squared. Then for kids, it's very hard for you to calculate the BMI. There we have the Z scores. We quantify the weight for height, the height for age, and the weight for age. There we get the stunting rates. You have heard about undernutrition and definitely wasting. So of all the three, undernutrition in kids, this is babies below 5 years of age. Starting is the most prevalent actually even in our country with a rate of 21.7 because most of the times it goes unnoticed. You see babies that mothers take their children to vaccination in that early age, maybe then after 14 weeks where they receive their third doses of vaccine, they come way later at 9 months. They fail to do this monthly growth monitoring and promotion so that we can be able to screen and identify this stunting rate at an early age. So starting is very critical because beyond 2 years of age, you can't do much of it. Maybe could reverse, but for the others, underweight and wasting, you can as well adjust them. For wasting in Kenya, still it's on a higher rate with 7.3%, and causes of this are right now the economic crisis. People are not able to feed their babies well, and generally not all individuals are able to put the food on their table 3 times in a day. You see, most of the people feed one time in a day, and these have these negative impacts to their health. Underweight now is a quantification of weight for age. So this is basically done to children below 5 years, and still it's prevalent with a rate of 4% in Kenya. And I think there are programs in those clinics and maternal and child health clinics in our facilities, and even in community-based. For these programs which screen these babies, and then appropriate intervention is put in place to address these conditions. Basically malnutrition is that broad.
Okay. Wow. Thank you for that. You want to add something?
Yeah, I
All
want to
right.
add something. I just thought of something. It's so interesting that the moment you mention to someone that, you know, your baby is malnourished, the first thing that comes to their head is, my child is underweight. My child is underweight,
Yes.
you know. But malnutrition comes from two terms, mal and nutrition. So mal is the inadequacy of nutrition, you see. So inadequacy or excessive. That's why we're saying that malnutrition is categorized as two. Underweight and overweight. You get? So I think that is a common misconception among people that, hey, malnutrition, mtoto wangu, you know. But I think that is something they really need to get rid out of their head and see malnutrition as something serious either way. Above and below.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And to know that you're not accusing the parent.
Yes,
Because
yes,
no,
yes.
Mimi, I feed my baby well. You know, so it's
Yeah,
not
I
an
do
accusation.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. Let's take a very short break. We'll be back in a few. So keep it tuned right here. Interact with us on our social media pages. Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook and YouTube. Do not go too far.
I'm Celestine Kemunto. I'm taking a bachelor's in business information technology. I chose ZTech because, first of all, ZTech has been ranked among the best in ICT, and I thought it will be best. It will be best for my course. First of all, we have there are so many ICT labs in ZTech University, which enables students, mostly those who are pursuing IT courses, to get to know more about their courses. Of which the labs have so many computers which have Ethernet, which is easier for them to browse. If I were given a chance to choose another university, I'll definitely choose ZTech University.
Apply today. ZTech University. Invent your future.
Pay for your tithes and offerings, PAP, using Family Bank's USSD solution for church collection, Kanisa PAP. All you have to do is register and pay. To register, dial code *325 *5#. Accept the terms and conditions. Enter your first and second name. Then your church's 4-digit code and church name. Confirm your registration and you're ready to contribute. To contribute, dial *325 *5#. Select your type of offering. Enter the amount you want to contribute. Once done, confirm the amount. You'll get an M-Pesa PIN prompt. Enter your PIN and you're done. You will receive an SMS confirmation from Family Bank. Isn't that easy? Try Kanisa PAP today.
PCA Ongata Booth Girls High School of Excellence is a modern private girls boarding school offering the 844 curriculum. Our vision is to provide an education that focuses on the holistic growth and development of each learner who will be readily admitted to world-class institutions of higher learning, graduating into exceptional students of integrity.
Our school will not only offer academics, but we also have extracurricular activities. For example, we have swimming pool, and it's not only a swimming pool, but it is an Olympic standard swimming pool whereby our students are able to feed their mind and build their mind.
We take care of our girls spiritually. We have a church just across here
where they worship every Sunday, and in between the week, we have a very, very strong Christian union. We really encourage you to bring your children here that they may get the experience of learning in a Christian environment.
We also have teachers who are well skilled and trained and also friendly. They teach us to be disciplined, which goes hand in hand with academics. PC Ongata Booth Girls High School of Excellence is the place to be.
Our school is founded on Christian background, and we are surely assuring you that when you bring your girl, you will not regret.
We have vacancies in Form 1 and 2 available for application. You can apply now.
Communion with a difference. It's easy to set up, no worry of spills, contamination or waste. Prepared with very high hygienic standards and strict quality dedicated equipment. You are rest assured that pre-filled Holy Communion elements are completely protected. We deal with pre-filled communion elements for churches in Kenya and East Africa like the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, CITAM, among many others. The advantages of the pre-filled elements are cost-effective, convenient, portable and ideal for use in virtually any environment, less preparation work, completely hygienic, and we have both altar wine and altar juice. Order now by calling us or sending us a WhatsApp message on 07999 88371. Visit our website www.holycommunionelements.com.
Your vehicle is a substantial investment. At Kirk Insurance, we ensure you have the right coverage to safeguard it. We will guide you to a fast, reliable, and affordable motor cover. Contact us on 0700-161262 or 0780-203203. Email us via kirkinsurance@pcea.or.ke. A step into comfort and peace.
Alright, welcome back and thank you for keeping it right here, Kirk Mid-Morning. Keep on interacting with us on our socials, Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook and YouTube. Talking about nutrition, with me is Simon Wanjohi and Roseanne Karimi. And let's start this second session with demystifying, the notion that weight gain is easy and weight loss is very hard and difficult. Hey, you're embarking on that journey. We're all the best because it's hard. And how these two are also related to nutrition. Wanjohi.
Okay, thank you. A very good question. Yeah. Weight gain and weight loss, broadly it might be classified into two, either voluntary or involuntary. And of importance is to understand someone's body response either to weight gain or to weight loss. There I classify 4 mesotypes. These are body types. You see, like my colleague has said earlier, some people have difficulty in gaining weight and difficulty in losing weight. That type of a body, we usually call them ectomorphs. They have very hard time in gaining weight, very hard time in losing weight. Generally they are thin, raise muscles, raise fats. Then we have endomorphs. These are people who gain weight easily. Not necessarily by consuming junk or high caloric foods. They gain weight eating normally, but they gain weight generally well. They have a lot of muscle mass and fat muscles. Then we have another classification of mesomorph. Mesomorph, these are kind of athletes. They gain weight easily and they lose weight easily. Then we have a classical combination of either ecto and endo. So for ectomorph, we said they are generally thin, and then we have meso who gain weight easily. So when we combine these two, generally they have a classic combination. We have two types. We have the pear-shaped ectoendomorph. These they have a thin upper body and a broad lower body in the abdomen and in the thighs. This is where now we classify even obesity into general obesity, and then we have the central obesity because of the accumulation of fats at the central line. Then we have another classical combination of endo-ectomorph. Now the accumulation of fats and muscles, they are higher on upper torso than on the lower torso. These are the people that you find they have a broad upper body and then a thin lower body. So when you come to understand these types of body types, it becomes so easy for a nutritionist or a dietitian profession to either manage weight, either to gain or to lose. Yeah, when I talk of losing weight, I classified it as two, either voluntary or involuntary. Involuntary weight loss, now there are so many causes of it, including now the constraint that we have in economy, diseases and underlying conditions such as cancers, TBs, all of them, they can cause the body to wear out. And then we have we also have eating disorders which are voluntary, like a person may be avoiding taking or consuming enough food in a day and become anorexic. That's losing weight. For weight gain now, generally it's about what you take and how your lifestyle is. You see, you can be consuming more of junks, and then you'll be increasing your body fat. And another person will eat normal food and then tone their muscles through exercise. Both they will gain weight, but one will have more body fat than the others. And these subcutaneous fats, they are generally not good in response to health, because now they increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases, the diabetes, and so many other lifestyle conditions.
So, so generally when it comes to weight loss and weight gain, it all goes down to your body type.
To your body types. That's why I've said either a nutrition or the dietitian profession must be able to understand very well this body of this client who needs to gain weight or who needs to lose weight. That comes, but you can't go and initiate a person on a meal plan directly without even understanding their rate of gaining weight or their rates of losing weight. So gaining weight or losing weight is a journey, and through this journey, a dietitian profession assesses and intervenes at every point. Mostly they are done in monthly.
When we talked about malnutrition, of course, both of you mentioned that it has both extremes. You can be overweight or underweight. Let's talk about, the risks that comes with being obese.
The risks are so many. One, the risks of overweight is developing some diseases. Okay, like so many diseases come as a result of overweight, obesity, including hypertension, including what do you call it? Like it's a lot. Cancer, what? Like a lot of let me say, like being overweight is multifactorial. It can be caused by so many other things below it, underlying conditions. I have already mentioned hypertension. It's a risk. Another risk of obesity is inability to perform, things, immunosuppression. Your immunity goes low. It's not, your body cannot fight for itself adequately. Yeah.
And does the same apply to also people who are underweight?
There are also risks that come along,
with that.
yes, with being underweight.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You want to add something on that?
So I think I can add something on the risks of being overweight and being underweight. Generally, as Luzana has tried to elaborate, most of the lifestyle conditions now in our hospitals, that in a real life situation, when you go to these hospitals, which are these most conditions of people are being admitted for, you find that they are either hypertension, diabetes, either cancers or cardiovascular diseases, which basically can be intervened nutritionally. And these conditions, remember, they have their complications. Their complications, they are very, very still rampant and very dangerous. And in our settings, being overweight exposes you and puts you in those risks. Now, being underweight, still there is immunosuppression and exposure. You are at risk of any disease, any infection that may come along. Remember, mortality rates of children at the age of 5, 45% of them died because of being underweight, and this of which this thing can be addressed right from their first 1,000 days, from conception period up to 2 years, and then monitoring closely up to age of 5, to increase the quality of life. Now, the quality of life is those years these kids will live without any disease or complication of a disease. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Being in the social media era, a lot of businesses have come up and they're selling their products online. And something that has also grown really much is businesses that sell products to do with nutrition and immunity boost. Talk about these products, because looking back during the COVID time, there was a high sale of such products since people were at home and were told, you need this to ensure that you don't get COVID, or rather its effects will be low. We're also going back to staying home for a few days during the election period. I believe also such products again will also be high on sale. These products, are they safe, first of all, and indeed do they work, Roseanne?
Well, that's a tough question, because I cannot say that they work or they don't work. Okay, people may have different reviews about those products, and whatever works for me might not work for you. That's the first thing. So let's talk about first, there are products that are being sold to help people lose weight, because the moment you are just confined in the house, you're not going anywhere. Of course, there's this attention that is there about the post-election, you know, because no one knows what will happen. So some people are just in constant fear. Hey, maybe, okay, I will not get out of the house, I'll just stay in the house. Now, what happens when you just stay in the house? Some people just rush and buy products that are being advertised, they are safe. They are termed as safe for helping you lose weight, manage weight, right? Now, I cannot tell if it's safe or not. Okay, because personally I have not used it.
Okay.
But now, whatever makes people feel cheated by these products, that okay, they are nutritional products, okay, they are meant to help you lose weight, maybe they have something like moringa, green tea, and then now you're supposed to take it and slay after election, you know. So sorry, whatever sometimes makes us rush and buy these things without knowing if they are effective or not is misinformation. You are misinformed. Okay? Because all products need to have a label, okay, and a nutrition claim. Now, these labels always tell you, inform you as the consumer or the client, the buyer, what you're subscribing for. Okay. If it has purple tea, it's let's talk about tea because tea is more common. It has purple tea, it has something like stevia, it has something like green tea. All these are are products that help manage weight, okay? But now you are misinformed, because if you are misinformed, you'll go take that tea without knowing, okay, what is the function of stevia in this tea? Okay, what is the function of purple tea in this tea? So you'll be taking that tea and still going back to sugar, juice, soda, you know, all those things that at the end of it all you'll come and say, it didn't work for me. Okay, sometimes you might, okay, there's this advertisements that really overrates some products, you know, and you go there purchasing the products with very high expectations, by the way, and then you just come and realize, it's not. And then later you might just realize that another person can come and say, it didn't work for me, it didn't work, you know. Then you come realize that I was first misinformed. Okay. And then I just rushed and bought it. You know, all these things. Then there's the part of immunity, immunity boost. Of course, immunity boosting products, most of them are supplements. And most supplements have been authorized to be distributed to people. You know, people are sometimes advised to take these supplements, like vitamin C. It will help you greatly boost the immunity, especially when you're not frequently going out and going to buy those fruits. Of course, fruits, they are crucial. But now what happens if you cannot access them, especially the vitamin C rich foods, the oranges, black, you know. So supplements like vitamin C is really good, and people are advised to, we as nutritionists, we always advise some people to take them. Okay?
All right. So in summary, seek proper nutrition guidance.
Before you do anything.
Okay. As we conclude and wrap up this session, what would be briefly your advice regarding diet and nutrition to people, even right now as we're headed towards the election period? Of course, there's a lot of staying home. Just briefly, what would be your guidance? We'll start with you, Wanjohi.
So there is no magic in nutrition. There is no magic in losing weight. There is no magic in gaining weight or boosting your immunity. It doesn't come overnight. It's a process, and that process should be monitored by a healthcare profession. Even Rosanna has tried to to specify and echo on the issue of a nutritionist or dietitian or a health profession recommending that supplement to a person. If there is that need. Not all patients or not all people who can use those supplements. Some of them, they can get those phytochemicals from plants that boost their immunity. So my take home message is that health and nutrition should not be a matter of chance.
Mm.
It is your personal choice.
It is your personal
Yes.
choice, and there is no magic.
And there is
All
no
right.
magic.
Roseanne, very briefly.
If I was to say about nutrition and everything, I'll just repeat everything Simon has said.
Mhm.
But I think we should really watch what we are eating.
Okay.
Let's take our time to know ourselves, you know. Take your time with food, understand what do you need, what don't you need. There's also a very important aspect in eating. Don't eat when it's time to eat. Okay, eat when you feel hungry, you know, like your body needs that food, it's demanding for that food. Eat that food. Then don't stay at home and just be like, everything is in my stomach and in my body. So let's watch our diet, balanced diet, of course. Let's consider physical exercise. You're in the house, chores in the house are physical exercise. They'll really help greatly, you know. And yeah, many other things. Let's really watch what we eat. Yeah.
Okay, so do not eat when you want to eat. Eat when you're hungry.
Eat when it's necessary.
When it's
You know, the
necessary.
moment you condition your mind, hey, it's lunchtime, I need to eat. That is when you find most of the people will just always be eating because it's time to eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And to you, dear viewer, who's tuned in from 10 a.m., I say a big thank you as we wrap up today's program of Kirk Mid-Morning. I'm grateful to you who tuned in, and I hope you really learned a lot on matters, you know, stress management and mental health care, as well as proper nutrition and diet. And we've heard that there's no magic when it comes to nutrition. So thank you so much to everyone. I see you on social media. Time does not allow me, but on Facebook, I see all who were able to drop a comment right there. Maybe I can read only one comment that came in on our social media pages, and I see Irungwa Mwalimu who said following on the conversation. Thank you all. So right about now, end the program there, but do not go too far, because coming up next is a repeat of Call Unto Me, talking about the role of a Christian during this period and the role of a Christian when it comes to voting. Definitely a conversation you want to tune into as well. My name is Faith Kaulu. See you next Tuesday, same place, same time, but for now, goodbye.
Thank you.